Okay, b'siyata d'shmaya, we're going to be learning in the Neshama Neshima, amazing book about Jewish breathwork. And we're in the third chapter talking about Rebbe Nachman ben Fegi, Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, who obviously has been mentioned throughout the series, nearly in every class. And Rebbe Nachman obviously is the light that Rav Itzhak Rafael Abuhatzeira is pulling from, as are we. And let's get into it. What does Rebbe Nachman and his students have to say about this idea of breathwork in Judaism? The main influence and influence, aspirations, the inspiration for this book, and the fundamental aspect that this book is lying on is the Torah of Rebbe Nachman. And he, more than anybody, really emphasized the need and the importance of breathing. If you look at it throughout the Torah and throughout all of Rebbe Nachman's books, he talks about the lungs, he talks about breathing, he talks about this idea so much. And these stories have still not even been brought out to the main masses properly. Some people don't even know what they're reading when they read it, and they think that lungs represent something deeper, and they think that breathing represents something deeper, but really, no, it's lungs, it's breathing. It's simply put, this is what Rebbe Nachman was talking about. And now is the time where these teachings start to spread out and start to get out there more. And here we're going to bring a few of these examples. It says, "Tzaddik shomea kol ha'anachot shel advukim bo ki mimenu totzaot chaim lechol echad." The tzaddik is able to hear the sighs of all of those that are attached to him. Because from him you have the flow of life to every single individual. So that's a teaching from Rebbe Nachman. And essentially the Rebbe, the Tzaddik, is able to feel all of his students, all of the people that are connected to him. He's able to feel the stress and the sigh that they have in life. That you do that as a student or as a person in this world. You have a Rebbe, you have a Tzaddik that's in charge of your Neshama, that's helping your Neshama to grow and to connect to Hashem. He feels it. He feels it when you let that sigh out. Rav Bezinson says, therefore it's very, very important to get close and have a relationship with the tzaddik, no matter what kind of relationship you have with him, right? There's some people that learn with their Rebbe, some people that they're just students, they hear classes, there's some people that they just pray in the minyan, there's some people that give tzedakah. There's all different types of levels of connections to a tzaddik. But no matter what, however you're connected, he feels you. Your way of connection doesn't determine whether he feels you or not. He feels you. And he feels that sigh and that pain that you're going through. And having that relationship, having someone in the world that you're connected to that really feels everything you're going through, that is one of the most important things, because you, all of a sudden as a person, you realize that there's someone in the world that cares about my size. There's someone in the world that cares and that feels what I'm going through. The feeling of lack that I have, right? This feeling that I don't have what I need, this is the whole entire idea, and I need to bring this out. I need to sigh it out. I need to breathe it out. And that's what's able to bring down all this life that I need, the life forces that I need, that will help me to make progress and move forward. Is there something more important than that in life, than having a relationship with a person that cares about you, that's investing in you, that wants you to do good in life? So too, it's brought in Likutei Moharan. When there's a lack in something, there's a lack in the aspect of the vitality of that thing, the life force of it, the ruach chaim of that thing. That's where the lack is experienced. The ruach, the spirit, the vitality of the thing is what's keeping it in existence, and the exhale is the lengthening of that breath. That's erech hapayim, that's, so to say, patience, that's tolerance, that's lengthening your breath, the sigh that comes out. That you take a longer sigh, a longer exhale, because of the lack that you feel, and you lengthen your spirit. You lengthen the spirit. Meaning, when I experience a lack, what's really lacking? Let's say there's a lack of money, or inside myself I don't feel connection. Why don't I feel connection? Really because of my ruach, because of my spirit inside of me. So how could I fix that? How could I reconnect? How could I get more ruach? By lengthening my ruach, by lengthening my breath. And when I do that by way of a sigh, so then I'm pulling down more ruach down, and you bring that ruach chaim into the chisaron, you bring it into your lacks, because the main chisaron, again, is the islalkut ruach chaim, is the lack of breath, the lack of spirit, the lack of feeling of vitality. And therefore, by way of the anacha, by way of this exhale, you complete all of the lacks. Mivuar lemala, ki haruach chaim hu ba'torah. We see from up above here that the ruach chaim, it's from the Torah. Rebbe Nachman explains there in Torah 8, this is Torah 8 of Likutei Moharan, that the main aspect of the vitality of the life force that we can bring into all of the lacks, we get it by way of the Torah. Ruach Elohim merechefet al pnei hamayim. This is the God, this godly spirit that is hovering over the water. Where can you find godly spirit? Hovering over the water. What's the water? The Torah. Meaning, if you need to complete your lacks, if you need to bring down more life and more spirituality, more vitality into your life, it can be found by the godly spirit hovering over the Torah. Therefore, in Egypt, before the reception of the Torah, before receiving the Torah, they didn't have where to receive life force from. They didn't have where to pull vitality from, because they weren't given the Torah yet. Right? In Egypt, they were, when Moshe came to tell them about the exile, they couldn't even hear him because they had a lack of breath. Kotzer ruach, short spirit. That a short in the circuit of their spirit, in their breath. They couldn't breathe, and they weren't able to hear the Mashiach coming and telling them, your redemption is here. You're getting out of your slavery. You're getting out of your Egypt. They couldn't even hear those words. Why, in a deeper sense? Because they didn't have the Torah. They didn't have where to pull Ruach Chaim from, which is Erech HaPayim, which is the tolerance and the patience needed to get through all of the stress and the difficulties that we have in this life. They weren't able to be marich ruche, to lengthen their spirit, to lengthen their breath, to hold on. Right? When we go through hard times in life, we hold our breath sometimes. Right? You have a certain test. Sometimes you see when people are working out, you have to tell them, breathe, breathe. A woman's giving birth, you have to tell her, breathe. Why? Because when we start to lose the ability to get through the hardships, we lose our breath, and then we just stop breathing. We stop breathing. And we have to be reminded, breathe, breathe. And only by way of that breath are we able to start to connect, start to believe, I can get through this. If I regulate my breathing, I'll make it through it, I'll be okay. That's why it says about the Jews that they had a lack of vitality. They had no spirit. That's the opposite of patience, that's the opposite of tolerance. This is the spirit of life that you bring down by way of your sighs in order to complete all of the lacks. The spirit, this ruach, this breath, is the completion of all of the lacks you could have. He will give you all of the desires of your heart. This is the secret of the pasuk that says, Archev picha, expand your mouth, va'amaleu, and I will fill it up. Meaning, your mouth is where you would experience the lacks, right? You say something, it doesn't feel right. You don't have the food to put in there. You can't make the connections you need. You can't make the money. Your mouth is also, right? All of your sustenance goes through your mouth. Your breathing goes through your mouth. Expand it. Breathe. And Hashem will fill it up. Hashem will fill up the lacks. Hashem will feed you. Hashem will provide for you. Just open your mouth. Lengthen your breath. Breathe more. Relax. Be. And Hashem will fill up everything that you're lacking. Another source from Torah 22 in Likutei Moharan, which is a very important Torah about the experience of the soul and the body working in partnership, and the importance of the soul talking to the body. Rebbe Nachman says like this there: Mikol anchati davka atzmi levsari. Mikol anchatai, right? From all of my sighs, my etzim, my core, my essence, my soul clings to my body, to my flesh. by way of all of my size, my soul, my essence, clings to my flesh. Atzmi, what's atzmi? What is my essence? That's my soul. That's the core of what a person is. A person is a makeup of a soul, a mind, a body, family, jobs, responsibilities. There's a lot of things that makes up what's called a person. But what's the core of a person? The most purest part of it? A soul. כי עיקר עצמיות האדם, מה שנקרא אצל האדם אני, הוא הנשמה. The main essence of a person, what the person means when he says I, me, who are you talking about? You're talking about the soul. You're talking about the neshama. She etzem hakayam la'ad. This is the source, the core that exists for all eternity. But because of the brazenness of the body and all of its lusts, so then the neshama is very, very far from the reality of the physicality of the flesh. The soul, the essence of the person is super lofty. It's a piece of Hashem from up above. The body is doing very bodily, physical, mundane things. The two feel completely separate, like we learned in Korban Nafshi, right? It's like speaking two different languages. And by way of the sigh, by way of the deep exhale, Shi B'chinat Azud Kedusha, which is holy brazenness, holy chutzpah. Al Yedei Zeh Nishbar Azud Gufo. By way of this, you break the brazenness of the body. Vaz mitkerevet u'mitabeket ha'etzem lebasar. And then you can bring closer, you can bridge between the soul and the flesh, the body, and make that dveikut, make that relationship, make that pairing that you need between soul and body. V'zeu mikol anchati davka atzmi lebasari. From the voice of my sigh, my soul attaches itself to my flesh. You go through things in life, when you breathe and you let out sighs and you bring Hashem into the picture, you're making more of a yichud, more of a unification between your soul and your body, which is what you need in this world. They need to be unified, and the more that they're at problem with each other and distance from each other, the more problems you're going to have in life. The more you align your soul and your body, which is what they were both sent here to do, then you start to get a completion of all the lacks. Then you start to be able to breathe. You start to be able to live again, to experience godliness. And Rebbe Nachman talks later in that Torah. We have to learn it one day here in Sha'ar HaYichud. But Rebbe Nachman talks later in that Torah that your soul always experiences lofty, godly things, and your body is usually always doing mundane things. And your soul oftentimes doesn't conversate with the body and talk to the body and tell the body about all the amazing things it saw up above and the things it's experiencing. What would happen if the soul would talk more to the body? Then the body will be more familiar with godliness and with holy ideas. And then when the soul sometimes gets weak, the soul sometimes can't do its job, it feels hard, it feels suppressed, and then it starts to fall down. And when it reaches the body, if the body is indulging in this world, or when the body just engages in this world, the body wants to have, like we said last time, a cheesecake, right? So there's no problem eating cheesecake, it's okay. But how much cheesecake and how much do you indulge in it? So when the soul comes down and experiences the cheesecake through the body, if they have a relationship where they talk a lot, then that experience of the cheesecake will entice and raise the flame and the fire and the passion of the Neshama to go reach ta'anug, pleasure from a higher source. But if the body and the soul are not in a relationship, and the body doesn't know anything about spirituality, so then when the soul goes down and experiences that same cheesecake, because the body is in power now and the body uses it for pure physicality, so then it'll pull it down further. The more we build a relationship, the body ends up becoming more of a servant, more of a helper to the soul, to the point that even when they come together, the body is pushing the soul back up and not pulling it down. And that's one of the benefits you can get from having a relationship where you speak to your body, you talk to your body, and Torah 22 is a good source to get deeper into that. We'll do two more little sections. Albish shamayim kderut. I will put clouds all throughout the heavens, but zakech v'letayeret hashamayim, to purify and to purify and rectify the heavens. It's by way of a true sigh. A true sigh. That's how you can purify the heavens. Where's the heavens? Chassidically, Our minds, right? You want to purify the mind, you want to get rid of all the cloudiness that you have in the mind, give a good true sigh. Exhale, nice long exhale. Ki yesh belev ruach hadofek. You have inside of your heart a ruach, a spirit that is pulsating at all times. She mitchilat toleda. It's from the beginning already. From the beginning we have this pulse, this spirit of life that's pulsating through life. And this pulse, that's this blood essentially that's going through the body, carries in it all of the oils and the liquids that the body needs to make the body function properly. All of the blood, all of the different juices, everything that you have inside of your body. And this ruach hadofek, this pulse, this spirit that's just pulsating and pushing all of that blood around, right? The ruach, spiritually, your soul, that's called the ruach, sits in your heart. Meaning that pulse of love, of awe, of dveikut is what's causing your heart to pump. And when it pumps, it's pushing all of these different liquids throughout your body that are needed for the existence of the body. And it goes through and experiences and touches and feeds all of the different organs and ligaments and sinews in your body. By way of you breathing properly, you sort of say, shake up all of these different parts of your body, you purify all of that blood, so that when it goes around, all the mold and all of the staleness that could be in your blood is getting removed. When you breathe properly, right, we talked about this in the beginning of the book, one of the most important facets of breathing is getting out the stale, poisonous air that you have inside your lungs. If you don't take proper deep breaths and full inhales, so you could be walking for hours with stale air inside of your lungs. At a certain point, it becomes carbon monoxide inside of your lungs. It's horrible. It's bad. When you take full breaths, at least a few times a day, you check in and you do this deep breathing just to clean out the system, to get that dirty exhaust air out and to put something in that's fresh. That already is very important. And that moldiness that Rebbe Nachman's talking about that you have inside of there, it's also all the dryness, all the things that become autonomous in our body, right? We brush our teeth without thinking, we drink water without thinking, sometimes, God forbid, we even make brachas without thinking. But these are holy, holy actions, and even the mundane ones could be holy if we just applied a little bit more ruach into it. If we felt our heart pulsating that new blood into us to remove all of the old stuff. Like Rav Turgeman used to say always, don't eat from the freezer. Make fresh fruit. Buy meat. Buy salads. Why are we eating from the freezer all the time? Why are we eating leftovers all the time? Make fresh. Eat fresh. That he meant literally, and he also meant in a deeper sense. Why are you still stuck in what was and where? You're eating from old food. That meal already happened. Go to the shuk, buy new, tell a new story. Move on in life. Stop getting stuck in all these things that you think, oh, this is how I am, this is what it has to be, this is how it's been. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Stop eating old food. Go to the shuk, buy something new, make a new recipe that you've never done. Tell yourself a new story, set a new picture, have a new day that you've never lived before. This is what we need to do. The way to get there is by way of breathing. The way we need to get there is by way of breathing. Taking this time to breathe, and while you're breathing, you're connecting to the Ruach of Hashem. You're connecting to this new spirit that is the lengthening of the breath, that gives you the power to tolerate all the hardships of this world and the confusion of this world, and to suffer, but to suffer with Hashem there with you. To lengthen your breath. And then you could hear the voice of the Mashiach, of Moshe Rabbeinu, coming to tell you, I'm coming to take you out. The time of redemption has come. When Moshe said that to our brothers and sisters, to us in Egypt, they couldn't hear him because of a lack of breath. He came to tell them, it's over, your suffering's over, it's done. And they couldn't even hear it because they didn't know how to breathe. They were still stuck in what was. We've been slaves for 200 years. How could we ever get redemption out of this place? So too in lives, we think we can't get it past our own limitations and our own hardships. You can. One of the first things you need to do to get there is to start breathing with proper intention, but also with consistency. Physically to sit and to breathe, and mentally to be connected to Hashem, and emotionally to want to be connected to Hashem and to let go of everything that's holding you back. The more that you do that, the more you bring your own personal Mashiach to be able to take you out of the Egypts that you're experiencing. B'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach.